But their story didn't end there.
How could there have been only one? And he's back in business.
Is the worst idea in history of bad ideas.
Part 2 is the final chapter in the violent history.
This time, it's personal.
We got a big surprise.
A trampoline? Another pony? Fake IDs?
It's even better. This year, no more back and forth at Christmas.
We're not doing the back and forth.
Nope, I just said that.
Yay!
A together Christmas like a normal family.
A together Christmas!
Hello? Grandpa Kurt?
My dad is gonna scoff at everything we do.
Your father hasn't met the new evolved Dusty. I mean, who wouldn't be impressed with you? Dear God. This is gonna come off weird, Dusty, but he's beautiful.
Why don't you bring the car around?
I'm not the driver. I'm Brad. Stepdad? My dad's coming too. Dad! Red sweater. He wears a red sweater so I can see him in a crowd.
There's my big man! So this co-dads thing. You gotta ask another man's permission to see your own kids.
Everything is rock solid between me and Brad here. In fact, best friends.
Really?
Brad,
Thank you.
stop it.
I'm good. Because we're boys.
I don't get the whole girls thing.
Here's the game plan. You want to be that one that she tells you about all of her problems with the guys she's actually dating. It's called the friend zone.
No. It's the worst advice anyone could give you. You want to be like Brad and be in the friend zone? You want to be like Dad and get in the end zone?
Oh, gosh. Those piercing eyes. Like a velociraptor.
Don't you see what he's up to? He thinks you and me are harboring bad feelings.
No, I'm not harboring anything.
I just want to find the perfect together Christmas tree.
You don't think I can operate a chainsaw?
Oh, yeah! Cut like butter! Brad, isn't that
Timber!
Brad, cut down a cell phone tower.
I think Brad's dead again. Daddy!
Don't you want to spend the holidays with your one true, real dad?
Brought him all the way up here just to get back at me.
Yep.
You're opening up the harbor, Brad.
Oh, the harbor's wide open.
Right.
And it's Fleet Week.
This is getting good, boys.
We're gonna settle this physically. Cut it out. This is child abuse.
Don't be such a snowflake.
5 more minutes and I get to be Joseph.
You throw that, we are no longer co-dads. You gonna pump fake that thing all night? Or you gonna take a shot, Brad?
Huh? He's never played sports ever.
What? What? Maybe it's stuck to his hand.
You know what, Dusty? You're not worth it. Psych! You're totally worth it.
Test.
Dad!
If you like Braveheart, Third Rock from the Sun, or The Passion of the Christ, or if you like Christmas, drunk kids, airport escalators, The Miracle on the Hudson, live nativities, shoplifting, cell phone towers, movie theaters, or the Ford Flex, which is an SUV, then you'll like Daddy's Home 2.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Sully. Fucking hell.
That's what The Miracle on the Hudson is.
Oh, shit, my bad.
Oh, my gosh. But yeah, this
Fucking
is...
messed that up.
Revenge of the Sequel, the podcast, just about sequels, and we're doing a comedy sequel unheard of.
That's so crazy. When was the last comedy sequel we did?
Did we do Anchorman 2? I don't know.
I think we did. I don't know if it ever got released, but
Okay. Because
you know
I'm thinking
that's so fucking funny is that we have no knowledge of our podcast. Like,
who knows? But I'm Emmanuel.
tweet us, guys. Oh yeah, my name is John. Sorry.
And this is we're in the 130s. I don't know. We're up there.
I think you're lying. I think we're probably in the 100 teens.
You think so?
Probably.
I don't know. I guess it depends what you count because we have those news podcasts too. Those
That's totally true. And we
count.
stopped. I think you stopped actually numbering our episodes.
I did
online. So
because I started to feel old. I was kidding.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna try to get to another 200, baby. Break off another 100.
When did we hit 100 though? Wasn't that like in
2 years
2015?
ago? Yeah.
Oh well, then like maybe in another 2 years we'll actually hit it.
We took almost a year break though, so we should technically reach it in 1 year.
Yeah, I mean if we keep it up like the way we used to. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, we're talking about Daddy's Home 2. I didn't know necessarily that this was a Christmas movie. Did you?
In looking at the key frame art, is that what you call it? The key art.
The picture, on Hulu.
I would say key frame art.
This is available on Hulu, PT Dubs.
Key frame art, like if it's like
yeah,
it's concept art with Mel Gibson, John Lithgow, and it's
they don't
it
show
shows it.
Do they really?
They show like a little. I mean, they're wearing Christmas sweaters, and like I think Daddy's Home has like a green and red
you know what?
font or
I bet
something.
I bet you it came out during Christmas. The holiday season.
I will check that here in a fucking second.
That is
November 10th.
Okay, there we go. Holidays.
2017.
Holidays movie 2 years ago. So this movie, I will say, is appropriate because this episode's coming out close to July, Christmas in July. Merry Christmas.
Awesome. Yeah. Merry Christmas to
Merry
you.
Krampus to you too. But yeah, so I'll talk about the first one because you didn't watch the first.
I have not. No, I have no idea. This is like the first time since City Slickers 2, I think, that I've watched this. I've watched VHS 2 or something. Well, I think I just named that comedy. I think VHS 2 and City Slickers 2. I've never seen the first movie of those franchises. So like this is kind of like a jump right in the middle of the franchise thing. So this is like a new and very fun to me too because like not that I necessarily had a lot of fun with this movie, but it has its moments and I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
So Baby Daddy, wait, what is this called? Why do I keep saying Daddy's Home?
Daddy's Home 2?
I think I might have been calling it Baby Daddy 2 for some reason.
Wait, I want to see those notes because that's pretty
what
hilarious.
Did you say? Just Daddy's Home, right? Okay.
It's called Daddy's Home 2. God damn it.
So first Daddy's Home, you didn't miss much. It's a very similar thing. These movies are star fueled because it is like the other guys. So it's Wahlberg, Ferrell together. You get the intensity of Wahlberg and the kind of naivety and silliness of Ferrell. That's the first movie, except that there is a very strong, there's an emotional connection in the first one where it starts off as a competition between who's a better dad and then ends up with them being co-parents of the kids. So that's the first movie.
Okay, yeah. So they kind of hints at that because like in this movie, it starts off with them being kind of like
co-parents,
friends, like kind of like little frenemies there or something like that.
Super close.
Sort of. Super close. But like very, it's not necessarily like hostile banter that they're like, they're annoyed by each other, but it's not like in a bad way. And
in every way that a sequel is sometimes just literally doubling what happened in the first movie, that is exactly what this movie is because instead of just having the Wahlberg, Will Ferrell kind of foil going on, you get the John Lithgow, Mel Gibson, I don't want to say foil because they are foils for each other, but that dynamic too, because they just double it. That's what happens in this movie.
They triple it at one point. Like they kind of add a John Cena character.
Oh, I forgot about John Cena in this movie.
I actually did too.
That's this episode. We're done. I'm just kidding.
I saw him in the credits, I think, like when I was watching the movie. And then I was like, the opening credits, not the ending credits.
Yeah.
I was fucking surprised. I was like, fucking John Cena's coming in this movie? Like, what the hell?
You're right. Because then you're like, whoa, third dad? Because then is there a Daddy's Home 3 with John Cena? Because he's one of the big emotional finales in this movie.
Yeah.
Even though he's in it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's really, it's pretty crazy.
Let's get started. What do you think of this movie, Daddy's Home 2, John? From not watching the first one, what do you think?
It was a trip. I wouldn't say like it's not all that funny. I think I appreciate the moments of the attempted moments of humor more so than anything else because the cast is okay. I feel like Mel Gibson doesn't add a whole lot to the cast, if that makes any sense, and that has nothing to do with with who he is and shit like that.
Again, we will not really talk so much about Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson himself. That being said, I mean, there is you can't deny that the presence, will make some people uneasy. I just think that his actual like movie presence in this movie is kind of like, I want to say almost miscast or like, it's jarring because like,
I think it's
no clue.
Well, it's like a tough guy. Well, I don't even know if it's a tough guy persona or if it's just a jerk persona. Right. I don't know.
But the thing is, like, the jerk persona is already there. I guess they just amplifying like Mark Wahlberg's character because I guess Mark Wahlberg's character was in a similar manner, I guess in a way, like since the first movie too.
Yeah. But
But Mel Gibson just feels off. There's something off about Mel Gibson in this movie to me because like he doesn't generate a whole lot of laughs. He doesn't really like at least in my opinion, I can't remember a place where like I'm laughing at his specific character, other than the part where he's trying to amputate John Lithgow's foot, which I thought was like hilarious.
And I think the whole point of this movie is not just hijinks, but it's kind of the juxtaposition of these two really different people,
right?
And the frustration that causes.
It leads to gags, like to visual gags, like There's a scene where like he's sucking up all the Christmas lights and it's like hitting people and stuff.
And this movie is filled with
super goofy
physical comedy like that. There's a lot of that, even when it just comes down to them kissing each other on the mouth a lot.
Yeah, for some reason it was really See, like even that ending joke between spoilers, this movie's been out for like a couple of years now.
Yeah.
But like that ending joke between Mark Wahlberg and Gibson where they like kiss each other in the mouth, like it's like you want to laugh, like, oh, this is gonna be funny, and you don't, but you're just like, ha, I get it. Like, I guess you point and just like do a ha, and then that's about it.
They do play. You're right, because Mel Gibson is this character that is almost. I feel like he almost plays the idealized version of what everyone thinks Mel Gibson is.
Well, the thing is, because they never. I stepped away a little bit, but like, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. But they never like the other characters are put in these extreme situations, and you know, the center point of that situation. You know, like, you know, the gag with the lights that I just mentioned. You know, Will Ferrell is like, you know, the idiot in that one. Or like, you know, the snowball one where everyone keeps throwing like snowballs at John Lithgow's face.
I'm laughing now thinking about it. Poor guy.
Mark Wahlberg, you know, the situation that he's put with his, like, you know, daughter and stuff like that. Mel Gibson is never in those situations. Like, out of the four actors there, like, he's only reacting to the plot. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, he's not.
Yeah.
They don't give him time to shine, or like, I would have appreciated like maybe a zany situation, like an equal amount of zany situations for all of them. Mel Gibson never feels like hopeless in the movie.
Mel Gibson is supposed to be the one orchestrating all of this chaos.
Right, yeah.
And most of the movie is him reacting to the chaos. And that's it, like laughing about it.
That's all it is, yeah. Because it cuts to him saying, like, you know, laughing, like, what an idiot. Or like, you know, that's all he is in this movie.
There's even a moment during the nativity scene where I felt like he wasn't even there on set, because it was just him by himself. Like, it was a close-up of him by himself
yeah.
reacting to some crazy thing.
That feels like, that feels like the entire movie. It almost feels like Mel Gibson signed on to this because he thought it would be fun, and he looked at the script and they were like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, well,
yeah, whatever you want, man. John Lithgow's like really... so, and this is the weird thing. Maybe this is why we don't do comedy sequels that much, is comedy's fairly subjective.
Yeah.
No matter what. So when you judge a comedy...
It's also really hard to make me laugh in a movie in general.
So like, it's kind of weird because you're like, well, so do we judge it just of the way of like the story? Because comedies
gags,
aren't necessarily... Like, there's so much shit that isn't going to happen.
It's formula.
Yeah.
Like it's
so you can't really be like, oh, I didn't believe that this would happen. Well, no duh. It's a comedy. Like, it's not supposed to be able to happen in real life. But I think there's a lot of physical comedy in this movie. There's a lot of like hijinks. There's a lot of parental comedy. For example, like with kids, and I'm talking about like teaching. There's a sequence where the son can't bowl. And then, and they build up to him hitting one pin. Do you remember that? Did you watch that sequence?
I think I might have stepped away from that one.
It is a long part of the movie, but Mel Gibson basically gets pissed because the kid's using like those little the bumpers.
Yeah.
So he puts them down, and the kid sucks at it. So he's guttering the whole time, and everyone in the bowling alley is like, instead of this guy's about to bowl a perfect game, they're like, this kid's about to bowl a perfect 0. So everyone's watching this kid, and Mel Gibson has this moment where he's like, listen, one of the reasons why it's basically, why do we follow Bruce Wayne so that we can, I don't know, pick ourselves
so
back
he says
up.
Something like that.
Like, there are moments with kids. There's the drunk kids that happen in this movie.
The drunk kids
kissing his sister. There's like a lot of...
There's a line of kids just to kiss the kid.
Yeah.
Which was like kind of weird to me, like a little bit. I don't know why, but like
the birds and the bees talk too with Will Ferrell. I was like, you need to be in the friend zone. Like, this is what you do.
Oh yeah.
So like,
shit.
That's like a huge part of the movie. But I feel like there just isn't enough follow up on a lot of the big moments. Like the Mark Wahlberg's new girlfriend shoplifts. I don't think there's
and she's like a writer apparently,
and she's a writer, and there isn't a huge, like, that wasn't important. Because it ends with them in a movie theater anyways.
I'm gonna go ahead and just take this time to say that I felt bad for, what's her name? The Victoria's
actress?
Secret model.
Okay.
The one that's what's her name? Alessandra Ambrosio. She didn't have a whole lot of lines.
Yeah, and and it's kind of interesting too that they introduced a new kid, like
a stepdaughter,
another stepdaughter to this family, which isn't bad. Like, but it's just an interesting idea of like, why did we do that here? Because you didn't really necessarily need it, other than, well, yeah, you really didn't. Because I don't know, this movie, was it supposed to be about their dads or about like their family growing? Like, that's what I didn't get. Because if it was just about their dads,
I think it's supposed to be maybe about the family growing and maybe them just all learning to accept each other. I think it's like, I mean, like I said, I've never seen the first one, but what you're saying from what the first one was, this is just like it's just multiplied times two. Like it's
really
a typical comedy sequel, and just like what happens when happens when more happens. Like what about their dad? And like so the third movie is it gonna be about granddads or something? Like this one's about granddads, like great granddads or something. Like what's
Are they alive? Who's alive? That's going to be
Mark Wahlberg said that he wants to. Oh man, this franchise is going down a weird path.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson is in this movie. Mark Wahlberg wants to have Liam Neeson in the third movie.
Another semi-problematic actor. Well, so here's the thing, though. Liam Neeson is playing Liam Neeson
in this movie, yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, in Daddy's Home 3 or something like that.
So like it's just really funny. Let's go down the cast list though, because like the cast is actually superb in this movie.
It's good.
Cool.
Let's start with Mel Gibson.
So I mean, that being said, we joking about Mel Gibson when he turns it on. He hasn't turned it on in a long while, and he definitely does not turn it on in this movie.
Yeah,
he's pretty good.
He is a Renaissance man in terms of he directs really well.
He's from the Renaissance. No, just like
he is an actor who was like a huge actor in the 90s.
Yeah, like he was
playing the hits.
Top of the line. He was Bruce Willis equivalent, like action star and an actor.
Probably best known for Braveheart.
And then Hacksaw Ridge and stuff.
What a Woman Wants.
For recent years, he's known for some shit.
Directed The Passion of the Christ, still one of the highest grossing rated R movies.
Right? Yeah, he's kind of fallen from grace recently because of straight up assholeness, I guess,
and also anti-Semitism. But yeah,
I mean that's what I'm saying, like straight up assholeness.
Yeah.
So Mel Gibson, I guess first off, he plays Kurt Mayron. So he's basically Mark Wahlberg's father. He invites himself to Christmas because Mark Wahlberg and him won't invite him. Doesn't seem like they get along a lot. Even like their payoff at the very end is awkward, which is like
he won't say I love you, but he kisses him.
But the thing is like commit to the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like it's just a very weird moment to keep like these two characters like that.
I still don't love you.
That's cool and everything, but the thing is, like, I mean, it's a comedy movie and it's supposed to be like over the top and zany, and you're just like, you're not.
One of the big moments too that was weird is he's an astronaut.
Yeah, he's a pilot and astronaut, which is that's weird.
I don't know if he was like, I'll only play it if I'm an astronaut or something, because
that sounds like something. Yeah, that was like
they didn't really apply much later on either. Because also Sully is in this movie, who is also
an actual pilot. Yeah. Okay, so and then after that you have Will Ferrell as Brad and Mark Wahlberg as Dusty, which are the two main characters of this movie.
I like that duo.
The duo is pretty great.
It's fine.
Their jokes didn't necessarily land in this movie. I think the hot cocoa joke was the thing that I like. Yeah. I cringed at the most, like makeup Coco or something like that. Because I was like, wait, what the fuck was it like?
They probably played better enemies. Because in Daddy's Home too, that was the whole thing. They didn't like each other the entire movie, and it was funny because they were always trying to outdo each other.
Right.
And this is kind of in this weird thing where they aren't really trying to outdo each other,
but they're liking each other, but they are and they're not.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting.
It is really weird. I do like their chemistry a lot though. Like the other guys was great.
Oh yeah, it's good when they don't like each other.
Yeah. I'm sure the first Daddy's Home is great too. Great duo there. You have the supporting cast with John Lithgow as Will Ferrell's character's dad, Brad's dad.
Funny
guy. John Lithgow. I love John Lithgow.
He's a comedy actor.
Underrated actor. Awesome actor. You have Linda Cardellini, another one of my favorites, as Sarah, which is
Velma.
Brad's Velma Dinkley. She's Brad's wife, Will Ferrell's wife.
Yeah.
You have some kid actors. Scarlett Estevez as Megan Mayron. I was trying to figure out who this was, but I guess
kids did okay.
The kids actually were really funny in this movie.
The kids are all right.
Yeah, the kids are all right on this flick. You have Owen Vaquero as Dylan Mayron, so like the kid version of that one. You have Alessandra Ambrosio, like I said. Is she ex Victoria's Secret model or current Victoria's Secret model?
I don't know.
Well, Victoria's Secret model. Alessandra Ambrosio as Karen.
Almost, and you talk about her not having lines, but they play into that too, where she just writes down. She doesn't say anything; she just starts writing down.
I just feel it's very, very weird to like cast a model and not have her act. I know that's kind of like a weird sentence to say because most people do that and just like not have her act, just
throw them in there,
screen presence. That being said, I think it's really like disrespectful, like to casting a person.
It is,
yeah,
and they try to make her more complex by having her shoplift.
Right, yeah.
And then kind of always not there, like mentally. Like she's always doing something. She's on her phone.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's so weird that someone would say yes to that. I guess I don't know, but
I don't know. I feel like that character may also have just been written to include another stepdad, John Cena. To be honest with you,
yeah, I mean that's totally true. Because then you get to John Cena as Roger, which is that girl's ex-husband, I guess. They're divorced as well, and that's so that adds a different stepdad.
It's almost like who's the next dad, because it's going to be a big actor or something.
Yeah, and rounding out the cast, you got Dee Costine as Adriana, which is a daughter of Brad and Mark. No, it's Mark Wahlberg's daughter.
Yeah,
technically.
There's also another baby. Yeah,
there's a baby in there, and I don't think that's listed on here. The cameos include Bill Burr as Jerry.
That was funny.
A Bill Burr cameo at the beginning. You have Chesley Sullenberger as himself.
Sully. Is he married? Because that would be weird if he was married in real life. And
it's not Tom Hanks. I'm that part of the movie for me was like really, really weird, and it's just really weird. Like the fact that they got like Sully as an actual.
I thought it was going to be like Robert De Niro. I thought it was going to be like a big
like Tom Hanks or something like
actor that comes down. But yeah.
And then you got Liam Neeson as himself.
It's very like pilot heavy. Again, I made this joke, but a lot of it takes place. All the reveals happen at the airport.
Who the fuck is the director? Is he a pilot? It's Sean Anders. Sean Anders is a film director and screenwriter. He wrote and directed Never Been Thawed, the 2008 Sex Drive film, Sex Drive, and he and I guess Horrible Bosses 2. He directed Horrible Bosses 2, another sequel.
Horrible Bosses was pretty good.
He also directed the first Daddy's Home.
Yeah, Daddy's Home. I think that there's a good comedy in there. Oh, Sully is married, so it's weird that he agreed to be in this. But there is this really good idea for a comedy in this, which is like as just trying to function as a family. And not just a family, but like extended family with stepkids and like it's a good idea. It happened, I think, Cheaper by the Dozen. There's a lot of movies like this,
right? Yeah, not so much like over the top like those movies, I guess.
Yeah, this is rated R, or I don't know. This may not be rated R. I don't know. Maybe by today's standards, but I feel like kids getting drunk, and some of the jokes in this movie make it that, but maybe it's not. It would be like 80s, 90s rated R. This may be PG-13.
Can you actually? They don't have the rating here on Wikipedia.
I wouldn't be like, I don't know if this is a family movie or not.
I wouldn't say it's probably like PG-13. I didn't hear any like any fucks or anything like that. And usually that's what either that or like or explicit sex. Like we'll get you an R rating.
I like Will Ferrell. I like Mark Wahlberg. I think they're good together. But yeah, I mean, it's weird to talk about this movie because unless we're going to talk about specific, but
actual gags,
you shouldn't explain jokes. That's weird. Like this is funny because.
Well, I mean, I had I just told you I had a problem with the cocoa gag, with the hot cocoa gag, because to me that's like, I think I was watching it with a buddy of mine earlier today before I came over here, and I turned to him and I was kind of like, this is a very awkward joke, like it's not landing, so like it's like the equivalent of like of saying something and then like the comedian looking at the screen and like waiting for laughter and nothing happens.
I got wet. There's a moment too where he goes in the shower and he's trying to turn it on.
Yeah, and it's just like it's falling really flat. Like most of these gags like kind of fall flat. That being said, there's something enjoyable about watching what's going on screen, sort of.
I think
you kept thinking that something was going to happen to Gibson's character, because Gibson's character is like such an asshole in this movie.
Yeah,
that you just like you're waiting for like the
comeuppance almost for him.
Yeah. You're waiting for like his moment to like be a buffoon or do something, and it never really happens. So it's just like it's kind of weird. That being said, like the buffoonery from Will Ferrell. I haven't seen a Will Ferrell movie in a long time. This is the first time I've seen one in a while, in a long while.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a little much. Like it's so crazy. At least maybe that's the writers for this movie or like the actual, but like there's a lot of like.
The
buffoonery.
The jokes that I really liked are the ones that related to their characters or related to. I loved the sequence with the thermostat where everyone's like, "Who the fuck touched the thermostat?" Like that.
I didn't know that was a thing. I think I was talking to someone. Yeah. I was talking to someone today, and she was like, "Do dads just like not like people touching the thermostat?"
That might be like a really old dad thing.
Is that an old dad thing? Like an old?
I don't care.
Suburban American.
Like if I'm comfortable, I'm comfortable. But yeah, I feel like that was funny to me.
I would encourage my hypothetical kids to like, I don't want to sweat, so like turn that shit down or something. Like,
yeah, I don't know even what, because I'm trying to think of these moments and which ones are my favorite. I guess when they tear down that cell phone tower, that was pretty funny.
See that kind of landed flat for me.
Literally, it landed flat. I don't know.
I like the I like the John Cena interaction with Mark Wahlberg at the very end. When he's trying to leave the theater.
Oh God!
Only because like Mark Wahlberg is like, I love you, and he's like, John Cena's eyes start to water and his lip quivers. And he's like, take it back.
I know, right? Like he just cussed him out or something.
Yeah. It's so great, and then like they do a very kind of corny like musical sequence there, which is like feels like it's something out of a different movie.
Like it's a holiday movie type ending.
Yeah, but it's just like, but even then, like I think John Cena's. I don't know if it's his delivery because like. Or maybe it's just the fact that we're watching John Cena like act. That sounds like a dig at him, but it's just there's something funny about like John Cena's presence. You know what I mean? Like even the way he delivers lines, like right before he's about to like leave, like they're singing the song. He's like, "Oh, it's my favorite song of all time." He's like, "Damn it!" And then it cuts back to him. He's like, "I'll play it in August. I don't care." And like
it's
just
like
the way
absurd, kind of. Yeah,
it's so like stupid.
And it's kind of weird. Maybe this is the kind of comedy I like. But one of my favorite sequences was pretty dark. It's when John Lithgow has to do the improv. That sequence I felt
actually
was
really
funny.
Because even at the very end, where like he's like, "I'm not part of this bit," and then some guy sneaks behind Will Ferrell and starts doing the fucking arms,
putting his hands back there, and it's funny because these improvisers just want to make it funny, and they're like,
they keep trying to push it, yeah.
And it's also funny because Mark Wahlberg keeps trying to tell Will Ferrell, it's like he's killing it right now, like that. But I feel like that's like a darker moment in the movie. I was like, this is pretty good. Like it's so awkward and
the
funny.
exchange. I think probably maybe like one of the hardest parts I've laughed at this movie, and it wasn't much, but like it was the scene immediately after that where Will Ferrell confronts Mark Wahlberg for bringing up the topic of divorce at that improv show, and Mark Wahlberg's like, it was obvious. He was like, he joined an improv group. He's like, you join an improv group either when your wife leaves you,
before or after.
He's like, your wife leaves you because you joined an improv group.
That's funny. The awkward and meat. Like I remember even when Mel Gibson first gets there, and Mel Gibson's telling Mark Wahlberg. I don't even know the character's name because Mel Gibson. I don't even care. It's Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
When Mel Gibson's telling Mark Wahlberg like he's weak, like whatever, and Will Ferrell's sitting right next to him.
It cuts out, right? Like it's just like he's like, his masculinity doesn't it just sicken you? And it just like cuts like a bigger shot.
Leave,
He's like, you guys seem like you want some privacy. He's like, no, stay there.
So like those moments were really the awkwardness and stuff. And I also like when Lithgow and Will Ferrell really go full like dad son love each other thing.
Yeah, it's really weird.
There's always like like they do this in Anchorman too, like just this super absurd, like the fight scene in Anchorman that cracked me up when I first saw it because it was just so insane.
Yeah,
but there's a scene like that here, and I don't know how you felt about it with the wolves. When John Lithgow, they can find him, and he's surrounded by wolves or something.
He's like, "Oh, is that what that is? Like up there?"
And it's weird.
It's pretty funny. I think like that.
And Mark Wahlberg scares them off, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
That is pretty funny.
I actually disappeared.
My head is going back to that exchange with Gibson and Mark Wahlberg at the very end because like I love how they try to do like an emotional moment and then
they don't.
I guess in this case, yeah, he's like that would have worked when you were younger. We passed that window. It's no problem.
It's so funny. I just think it's weird too that he never says he loved. He's like maybe by my birthday or something.
That's the thing is like there's never a payoff for that, and it's kind of like not that there needs to be because like I guess they're technically in character. Like it stays true to whatever character was set up. That being said, it's like it's kind of cheap because like everyone's getting these like payoff moments. Like even that little bitchy little girl like who's like kind of like
gets kissed by her brother, and I thought that was funny, but it's also weird because like it's his stepbrother, but it's not okay.
Well, that's what Linda Cardellini says. She was like, it's stepbrother. She's like, that doesn't make it okay, but they're not related.
It's a little weird. That moment in that theater too was a little weird because I felt like maybe that's the writers being like movies are important kind of thing. Which happens a lot.
Yeah, I guess so.
They do this. Oh man, fuck. Oh, they do that in the last episode of Game of
Thrones.
Where
what do they do?
Well, they give the throne to the guy who has the best story. In Game of Thrones, this is a tangent, but I'm like, what? How? Like, what is like? This is like the writers being like, story is so important, and we create it. So they
you're right.
And I was
then at the very end, even Sam is like, a song of ice and fire. Like we wrote this book.
We're the best in this. Samuel
Tarly. Oh no, my real name is George R. Martin.
And yeah, what the fuck? Anyways, but yeah, so I feel like that this ending in the movie theater is like them being like movies bring people together.
Movies, yeah, exactly. And guess what? You're watching this fucking movie. Yeah.
And it's funny because Mel Brooks does the opposite of that in Blazing Saddles, where he just makes the studio system seem so stupid in that final fight scene, which is anyways. But yeah, I mean, what else can we say about?
What else can we say?
I don't know. I didn't really write much down. I just put no follow up to shoplifting or her being an author.
No follow up to those
Drunk
things.
kids, physical comedy, and John Lithgow.
They try to give her like a touching moment at the very end by having Linda Cardellini read the diary and
book,
saying like she's
writing good things.
She's writing she's basing a very heartfelt mother character off of like
her.
Yeah, off of Linda Cardellini's character.
Well, that's a tension too that was interesting. Is her character? There was like a mommy's home type thing going on where they were kind of co-parenting but not agreeing on everything. But yeah,
you kind of see. I mean, I don't know. The Linda Cardellini character was pretty interesting because she was kind of like acting as like den mother to both dads. Because I guess she was married at one point to Mark Wahlberg.
That's what was one of the cool pieces of friction from the first movie is Will Ferrell had never met Mark Wahlberg because he just comes into their life, and Mark Wahlberg is obviously good looking and hot, and he's like, "What? Why did like?"
He's like, "What?
Why
did you downgrade?" Or exactly. Like,
and that was funny because Linda Carter was like, "No, like he was good. Like I loved, like he was hot and stuff." And that's what was interesting about the first one.
It's kind of like, I guess so. So it's kind of almost insulting for like it's like you just kind of like you step down, like because like it's easier or something.
So it was a fun moment of friction. In this movie, it's I think the thing for her was the new mother who's also helping them, and it's a relevant comedy because as we don't really have nuclear families that often, like we probably have more not conventional families now, and so it's like a fitting like comedy for the time because I'm sure a lot of this people can relate to it being like, man, I'm a stepdad and I can't discipline the same way that the real dad does, or there's always love for the biological dad. Then so it's really
I can see that happening.
It's a cool movie. Like those themes are really interesting. I feel though
I don't think there's gonna be there might be. I'm not sure. I was like I don't think there'll be a Daddy's Home 2, but like or three.
It's like Modern Family, I guess, in a way. But yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of where a lot of the bad reviews came from because I think I was telling you a lot of the bad reviews just come from Mel Gibson. Yeah. Like that's it. So. People are like, "Hey, Mel Gibson's in it. I'm not going to like this movie," and I don't know if that's necessarily a fair approach at the movie, but because then you're basing it off of an actor, which is
and it's kind of weird. I mean, that's not though. I don't know. It's.
We just talked about Bryan Singer, so it's kind of a weird thing.
It's exactly because like we talked about him, and then we praised like I guess like Days of Future Past and shit.
It's the same thing. Like Rosemary Baby, good movie. I said that weird. Rosemary's Baby is a good movie, but
Polanski's shit person. Like, not a good person. I mean, it's complicated. I mean, I don't think. I think that being all of that being said, I think I actually had a problem with Mel Gibson's presence, not for like the obvious reasons,
just his character,
and so like, and then but you can't really escape that, like it's right on the wall. It's like doing some sort of movie with what's an actor that's like blacklisted now, like Kevin Spacey. Yeah,
Ooh,
something.
Same
it's
person.
just like it's there, like you can't ignore it, and especially because like Gibson's the type of guy, at least from the interviews that I've seen, like he owns it, and he's still like an asshole.
He does what he wants,
but like even like the bad stuff, like the anti-Semitic stuff, he doesn't seem like
he doubles down.
Like he doubles down, and it's just like it's jarring.
I'm really interested to see how he was on set. Like if people were super, they were definitely friendly to him, and probably
were they? I mean, you don't really know because like that can cause friction on set too, and that can cause like performances to be like weird.
He hasn't been in a movie in like a decade, like in a movie that someone else is direct and stuff. Like so, it's interesting.
Yeah, so it's interesting. That being said, I can see where they're coming from because, like like I said, my problem with this movie was Gibson's character. It's kind of like too.
It's probably a box office thing too. Like, hey, Mel Gibson's in this movie.
Like, because you're seeing the juxtaposition of all these actors. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool to the poster says Ferrell, Wahlberg, Lithgow, and Gibson. You know what I mean? Like, that's that's an all-star cast. If you think about it, yeah, exactly. So
yeah, the movie made a ton of money, so it's definitely Yeah, it's definitely fun.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, what are your final thoughts on this movie?
Final thoughts on Daddy's Home 2. I need to watch Daddy's Home 1. Because actually, this movie did make me a little bit interested enough to watch it. That being said, I'm not going to go out and buy it or anything like that.
No.
If it comes out on
I'll say
cable or something.
Since I've seen it, I think it's a better movie than this one.
Ooh, okay. So like better than the sequel.
They're actually very different movies. But yeah, the first one I liked because
the first one have more heart. This one was like kind of, you can feel this one's like superficial. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's hollow.
It has it has a genuine conflict that is fairly simple, which
it's not as goofy as this one, because this one's goofy as hell.
It's
like,
a little
you can totally
goofy.
have like this the tone in this one. You can totally tell is like it's amped up.
Yeah, there's a moment in this in Daddy's Home 1 where they both try to coach the soccer team and they're trying to outcoach each other. That's super funny. But it is more simple because it is the classic Will Ferrell Wahlberg dislike of each other, and then there's heart at the end because they're both raising the same kid, focus on the kid,
right?
But it also is,
So the idea works better than the just times 2 or times 4 idea that
it's
this
simpler.
One does.
You just have these two characters who are, trying to fight it out. But I think it's funny.
I need to check it out.
I think it's a lot funnier. But yeah, this movie, I think it's a good holiday movie. I'll say that. You can put this on
at Christmas.
Yeah, it's a fairly family-friendly movie. So I think everyone will get something out of it. I think it's a good theme. I think like as the families expand and you have like 2 or 3 dads or 4 dads or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would be totally excited with a Daddy's Home 3. I guess it depends who the 3rd daddy is or the 4th daddy.
Or what do they do at that point, right? Like, it's just like, is it literally a family reunion that's happening like somewhere? Like,
tons of dads everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. How do you multiply that times 3?
It's just,
it's so weird.
But yeah. What do you have to plug, John?
Listen to your Dolphin Pod and Sticker Fridge podcast. There should be new stuff every week from either company, I'm assuming.
There's always something. If we line up our schedule, there would be something every week.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Lots of cool content. Revenge of the Sequel has a buttload of episodes. I think we joked about the number about it at the beginning of this show. There are a lot. We can't really put a number on it because we're not counting at the moment. I think Dolphin might be, but I doubt it. Are you texting?
No. I'm trying to see if I can find out how many, but I really don't know how we.
But you stop the numbers, right? So you're gonna have to start counting manually after like 110 or something. I don't know, but yeah, listen to those shows. Stickerfridge.com is also a cool place to if you like really cool art content in San Antonio and just keeping up with events. That's a pretty awesome place. What else? Are we making anything pretty soon?
Yeah. We have some short. We're working on a short film. Actually, no. In the week that you're listening to this, I think in 2 weeks we're shooting another short film, which is exciting because
it is going to be pretty exciting.
It's been almost a year fully since the last complete one.
That's something we did. Yeah, it kind of broke us for a bit.
But yeah, we're watching a ton of movies, and then let us know too. I guess you can reach out to us. Tell us what sequels you want to see. They don't have to be in the theaters. I mean, we're going to watch a lot of these movies, but let us know what your favorite sequel is. It may not even be something that people have heard of. I think that's how we found out about Hellraiser, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah. And then it was one of my most pleasant experiences. I actually kind of like doing episodes like this where I wouldn't, normally I wouldn't watch Daddy's Home 2 or something like that. These are the moments for the podcast that I live for, which is experiencing shit that I wouldn't normally watch, I guess.
Yeah. Show us a movie.
All right. Bye-bye.
Later, guys.